We're live for Friday night pint. We are back here after a little break last week. You know, we had some stuff on last Friday, but obviously you had the interview instead, Jimmy Walker and Konchesky. But we're back, myself, Ryan, and sort of Nikki, kind of in a way. We're talking about the money. Where's the money?
What's that mean with Nicky?
What is going on? Oh, I don't know. Go on.
Nicky all over.
Yeah.
Nicky all over. Where's the money?
Where's the money?
Where's the money? It's
Give me my
I tell you
money.
what, it's not going into Nicky's camera setup, that's for sure. But yes, Antonio, the talks have gone on for the deal. He's feeling strongly that he deserves a good deal, and he can still play at the highest level. We're talking about all of that, and like I said, transfers. We're linked with players, but are we? Is there almost any point talking about them? Because again, we keep hearing we have to sell to buy. That's the phrase. You know, we can't buy before we sell, and you look at it, we're no closer to selling anyone. Like, there doesn't look to be any talks anywhere near close when it comes to, and obviously the transfer window is not open, but it just, you know, usually there's talks and there's links. It's quite dead now, lads.
Yeah, I think it's been dead for a lot of clubs, really. There's not been much going on. Obviously, as you said, the transfer window's not fully open yet. It was open for a little while for the Club World Cup teams, but regarding West Ham, no, it's the same old. It's just like hit the repeat button with West Ham in the transfer window, isn't it? 1 minute we've got no money, 1 minute we've got money to spend, then we've got no money, then we've got to sell to buy. It's just like hard to believe, because you see that article that came out the other day that we had 95 million to spend plus what we sell. So, but then other reports are saying we haven't got a pot to piss in. So it's hard to know what to believe. I mean, the only people that really know are the ones that are running the club.
Well,
yeah.
What would be your thoughts overall? What would you? I would lean towards we got to have some money, because we've still got like the rice money and things like to come in.
Yeah, we've still got money, but I don't think it's as much as what people think. I mean, I could believe it being around the 90 odd million, but obviously we've got to sell. Paquetá will bring in a bit of money as long as his court case goes well. Kudus obviously will bring in a big chunk of money, and then it's about Potter rebuilding. But as I said, like, it's hard to judge. None of us are in the football club, so we don't really know what we've got in the bank. But some reports are saying, as I said, that we haven't got no money, which is worrying if that is true.
Well, we've got a lot of big wages off our bill. There must be something.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is, in terms of FFP and PSR, one of the big main issues is you know, we could spend if the ownership would invest and inject cash into the side. So, like, that would alleviate FFP. So, say like Sullivan stuck in 100 mil, like, boom. We don't, because we've got money, but then that's the thing, isn't it? It's PSR and FFP, so it doesn't mean we can't spend. It's if we do spend, we're at danger of breaking those rules. But if Sullivan was to inject cash directly into the club against that, then we could spend. But the problem is he don't do that. He hasn't been doing that. The only time I think recently we've had injection of cash was when Kretinsky invested. We had that Kretinsky investment when he first came in. But there's nothing from Sullivan. So that's the issue. We have someone who is clearly just not ambitious. And if you're a West Ham fan, why would you not want to inject money into the club?
I think it comes down to this, right? And this has always been the way. He wants to stay up with minimum outlay. Fact, he's always wanted to do that. And I have heard through the grapevine that is the itinerary again. That he wants to start with minimum outlay. I think this is the problem with Sullivan now, and this is why a lot of people are getting even more frustrated with him than they were. Is that the fact that this seems to be the message every season. Now, when we moved here, we've been here in this stadium nearly 10 years now. So that's 10 years where we've paid sort of like a minimum amount of rent. So if you believe what you believe, over 10 years, we've paid £25 million in rent We haven't got any like concessions. But when you was being told about moving over to the stadium, there was promises that there would be money available like every season, and it just hasn't sort of like progressed like that.
I mean, to be fair, they have backed the managers over the past 3 or 4 seasons. They've given a lot of money to Moyes. They give a lot of money to what was his name, Lopetegui. They even Pellegrini was given money. So, but obviously, at the moment, the way it's looking is that Potter ain't going to have a pot to piss in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but that's the problem. That's the club's money. That's the club's pot, right? Do you know what I mean? So it's not like Sullivan's invested out of his pocket to back those managers. Now, because he backed the wrong manager in Lopetegui, who he wanted and gave him 150 mil, signing older players with not as much sell-on value. Now we're in a situation where Potter's going to be massively hard done by because of Sullivan's short-sightedness, and he could solve it. And the thing is, Sullivan, if he has not got the funds to invest in this club and to take us where we need to go, what we gave our home up for, then he's obviously not fit. He has to admit that and pass it on to someone who has got the funds.
Believe me, I think they're working behind the scenes to sell the football club. As soon as he can sell this football club, he will. We just, obviously, he's outpricing us. You know,
that's the fucking problem.
Valuing the club at like what, nearly £800 million, which, yeah, to a billionaire, that would be a steal for a big football club like us. But they're not gonna pay that sort of money.
No, and that's the problem, innit? Like, if it becomes then down to just greed, then you know if he sold it for 500 million, that's a massive profit. Like, he can make a big profit for what he paid on the club. He didn't pay that much for the club, so anything's a profit. But it's how much of a profit now he wants to make, and you know, everything he does, it just proves it's not for the love of the club, it's for himself. And if he was, his legacy would all be about who he moved us on to. Mark Ashley, you can say, he's a better football owner than Sullivan because of what he's left the club, the state he's left Newcastle in.
Yeah, but he was in like a similar boat, wasn't he? He just got lucky with the sort of like the investors that come along. You could say he'd done the same at Birmingham, you know. What do you
mean he got lucky, though? What do you mean he got lucky? Because they still had to go in.
The right people just come along at the right time. You know,
I don't think they just come along. Like, he had to put the club for sale. He had to go through all the process and
obviously I don't know how the deal worked, but it just seemed to be like, when you look at Ashley, the way he was going, by the time them Saudis took over, they came in and then they had to go out, didn't they? But when they came in, it was like they hadn't won a game. And it was like December or something, wasn't it, right?
What?
By the time the Saudis took over, it was like December. They had like 1 point on the board or something.
What point you making?
Well, I don't think it was the fact that he left the football club in a good state. I just think the right people come along at the right time. I don't think he was leaving a legacy. Listen, I think
it doesn't matter. Like, that's all here or there. The point is the end result. He sold the club onto owners that have improved and taken the club further.
Because he got a big offer.
So Sullivan, like I said, if that's you know, he could just fuck us off to anyone. But then that's part of his legacy. Like, his legacy at Birmingham is where Birmingham are now. That's part of his legacy. So he has to look at that and take accountability. Same with West Ham. So if he wants a positive legacy, you know, it's time to move us on to someone that can take us where we need to be. If he's not rich enough to own a football club, invest 100 million in a football club in 2025, he should not be owning a football club.
I don't think there's anyone in the West Ham community that's going to sort of argue against that now. That's the issue. That's where we are.
That's what I'm saying. If he ain't got the money or he don't want to spend it, it's one or two. And whichever answer it is, you arrive at the point that he's not fit to own the club anymore.
No. But the problem is until he sells it, we're stuck where we are, right? So what we have to do is we just have to get on with it. What we should be looking at is who we can sell, which is what we're looking at tonight, and where we're going to get players in. What sort of players are we going to get? I'll be honest with you, the last couple of years, I've seen some big stars at West Ham over the last few years, and they have spent some money in terms of like Getting some big money signings in. Paquetá was a massive coup. Kudus was a massive coup. Todibo, who just signed for us now, was a massive coup. So, like, it isn't like they haven't been trying, but it just seems to be they're going in different directions. So, like, the way Moyes played was a very certain way, and then we wanted to play Lopetegui. I don't think Lopetegui was a massive change of style of football, but then they tried to chuck everything into another direction. And I think we're just a bit scattered in a minute. Obviously, we had a few aging players, but I'd rather see some like young, hungry players come in. The likes of Bowen coming in and things like that. Youngsters. I think a lot of our youngsters are. I don't think they're ready to come in and claim like first team spots immediately, but there is definitely some real talent there. I just want to see some graft, because that's what I haven't seen in the last couple of years. I've seen a load of superstars. Last season, Kudus and Paquetá are brilliant. They're brilliant players. Brazil's number 10, Africa's player of the year. But if they don't want to play for you, there's no point in having them. You might as well have fucking you and Scott running around on the pitch.
Yeah, but don't you find that every time we're linked with players that you feel that can graft for the team, the fans, they're not good enough for the fans?
Yeah,
they turn their nose up to a lot of players.
Yeah, but because I think that's where we are in terms of like, everyone wants to see the superstars. But like when you think about, your favourite players, my favourite player was Di Canio. There's other favourite players that are going to be like Tevez and things like that. We all like the superstars, and they'll always be your favourite players. But I think the players I remember the most for West Ham were players like John Moncur and Steve Lomas and Dixie and fucking, players like that who just like give everything to the team.
This is the thing. It's not just about graft. Like, the thing is, what we need is quick and pace, because Ward Prowse will graft, but he ain't got the legs. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what we need to identify. Get some pace in this team. Get some energy, some athleticism. That's what because you can fucking have all the graft and run around you want, but if you're slow as fuck and you just have a player running through porridge.
I mean, yeah, but you can obviously have the odd player that's sort of like, with an energetic midfield, someone like Souček would work perfectly. But like when you've got a midfield that is like, built slow, can't really pass the ball, ain't mobile, and it doesn't bode well. It just doesn't tie everything together. We've got some really good, but even with the players that are leaving, like the Paquetás and the Kuduses that are leaving, we've still got Bowen, who is, you watched England the other night; they was fucking awful, and they really could have done with a Jared Bowen in the side. We've still got Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think he's the best right back we've ever had. In the Premier League era at least. We've still got Tommy Souček. We've still got a good spine of players, but we need to get players around them. Like, I think when Somerville comes back, I think he'll be like massive for us, because he's going to have the confidence to come in the side, and now he can make that that position his own, and he's not going to be juggling with Kudus and Paquetá. And I think I do think we've got a good base of and spine of players that we can build around, but we've got to build the right stuff around them. And it all ain't always going to have to be. Players that can pass. You have to get some grafters in there, and some, especially defenders. Like I do like Kilman, but Kilman's been poor. I love Todibo, but Todibo's looked unfit. The back four have looked like a shambles all season. We need a proper, we need a fucking Craig Dawson in there. That's what we need. Someone who's going to just stick there like a Ginger Pele. Someone's just going to stick their head in and like no nonsense. But it's where you're going to get them from, and how much they're going to fucking cost us, and have they identified these, and is he going to back? We've released a lot of players. Kurt Zouma's gone. It looks like Aguirre's going to be sold. It looks like Sociedad have turned made a U-turn on him, so it looks like he's going to be out the door. There's a few older bods gone. We just need to get some energy in the team. Something to feel fucking good about, because it's been diabolical. The football, like, not well, going to watch West Ham has been pathetic, but like just the football in general, and looking at players that want to play for you, it's just been bad. Like, and that's why a lot of people are not renewing their season, because there's no hope there at the moment.
I don't think a lot of people are renewing their season because of the football, like because of the team. I think it's more to the match day experience itself. You know, because we've been there throughout the years. At the Boleyn in the Championship, we've had worse size than what we've had. We've seen worse football sometimes, but people still went because they enjoyed going. So I think that's a big. It does play a part in it. Yeah, the results, of course, is a results business, and when you're winning, like we see it the other year under Moyes when we had that good run in Europe, and when we was in the Europa League and we was doing well in the league as well. You know, people it was sold out week in, week out.
Yeah, maybe if the football had been better, more people that didn't renew might have bit the bullet. But the main issue, and like for me and a lot of people I spoke to, is the stadium, and like they hung on, you know, next season, and you give it next season. And I think this season it was just a point where it was breaking point for a lot of people. And the people that have renewed, a lot of people have renewed, just said next season's going to be their last season, and it's just it comes down to that. But yeah, the football. Look, as long if you got a slow team like we have, the football is going to be really tough to watch. It's going to be hard going, like what we've got, and it just we sort of parallel England right now. You know, with the selections, he's picking fucking 40-year-old players and that, and expecting us to play exciting football. That's kind of what we've built of a squad. It's a shambles that we spent 150 mil last season, and we are in this big of a need of a rebuild. You know, we should be topping up and adding and improving to that. But, you know, we did not. So it was just literally one player, Somerville, which was the quick, energetic, skillful player that we wanted.
The thing is, I was excited by the transfer. I thought, you know, building on what we've got. But the problem is with us is that we didn't, like the big players that we had, they didn't perform. Kudus didn't perform. Paquetá went through like a load of shit all season. Kilman, who's not like I always thought Kilman was a top defender, but you know when he's got like Mavropanos playing next to him every fucking week, and Todibo, who was meant to be like this, you know, Europe's next big thing, you know, he's barely fucking featured, and it's taken him ages to settle. But I don't know.
What did we do about the midfield? That's the thing, isn't it? Because we made some good signings on paper. We just abandoned the midfield and done. We just Soler on loan and Rodriguez on a free. Like that's
that's the thing. Like we brought in Rodriguez and Soler, and people like were sort of excited because it was two foreign players coming in, playing the Lopetegui. But then we got rid of the likes of Downs and we let Ward-Prowse go, and you got two players in there that we see that can work and can be decent for the team. But yeah, I mean, look,
I would have definitely. Downs. I think that was a massive mistake by us letting him go.
Well, to be fair, we got 20 million for him, which
look, it was a good bit. It was a good bit of business. But then, like, you think that we brought in someone like Rodriguez who wasn't really up to Premier League standards. I think Soler had his moments, but once again, if he was that good, we would have kept him. You know, PSG don't. If you're good enough, PSG won't loan you out. So. It's.
Did you see who's going in for him?
Yeah.
So Napoli.
Maybe it might work out. I mean, listen, they had a great season, and he'd have to drop his wages if he's going there.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. Well, they've just won the Serie A title, and De Bruyne's going there as well. So
yeah, that mean they're going to pay silly wages for the likes of Soler, who's not going to be. Is he going to be first choice? I know McTominay's like the main man.
Yeah, they're building a decent little side. To be fair,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no guarantee he goes in and starts for him. So if he's a bench player and he's on fucking the money he's on, you know,
who's he going to?
Napoli.
So yeah. Oh, £2 super chat from Tony Angelino, the singing dustman. This window is going to be quap. Oh, hey, Nikki. Thank you for the super chat, Tony.
Quaying. Quack.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that the midfield was the big issue. If we'd have got like an engine in there, you know, like an Onana type player, like a QR8 profile of player, someone with pace, power, strength, box to box, like, you know, it could have changed things. But
do you know? I think we really missed out on when we didn't get him. It was at Onana, you know, the one that went to Everton.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, Nana. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
It's
Yeah.
nice to see Mickey's cam not working again. Yeah, I'm about as consistent as the West Ham midfield with my camera. It just cuts in and out. Turns up when it wants.
Tin pot.
Input camera.
Yeah. But so that would have been a good signing if we could have got him, but we pissed about on that one like we do. And like I said, we never bothered to look at anyone else. So all we can hope for this season, right, is that, well, first, if we've got a sell to buy, that's a problem. This the sell, just on the sell to buy thing, right? That becomes an issue because when I look at this team, apart from Paqueta, which we can't sell Paqueta until we know what's happening with him, and Kudus, you look around the squad and you think, who can we really sell? We're not going to get anything for Rodriguez. Souček, we could get something for, but a lot of fans don't want to sell Souček. Who else is there? To Debo, if there's talks of selling to we're gonna have to sell players that and make a big loss on a lot of these just out of desperation, and all of this is going to hold us up. So we're going to get left behind, and our targets are going to go to other clubs because we're pissing around trying to sell players. And then we're going to have to take money on the cheap for the players because we have to sell to buy. So we need to get rid of them quick so we can bring stuff in. Clubs will know that. And we're just gonna make a massive loss on players. And
the thing is as well that the Paqueta trial should be done within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And by the looks of it, they're trying to get him on something. So I can either see a long ban coming for him. I don't think he'll be banned from football for life. But we've just got to get in our heads now that either way next season, whether we sell him or he's still here, he's not going to be playing for West Ham.
Yeah.
So if we don't sell him, we don't get money for it. You've got to look at other players. Kudus, we can get a nice bit of money for. I mean, there's talk of 85 million for him. Snap someone's hands off for that. Then
it looks like the front runner for him, didn't it?
Souček, Bowen. The thing is with Bowen, even though he says he don't want to leave the club, that don't mean that the club will never sell him. If someone come in for £100 million bid for Bowen, Sullivan's going to take it. This is the same geezer that the day after we won the Conference League, he was flogging Rice on TalkSport. So he will do anything, mate. So I wouldn't rule out Bowen even being linked with a move away.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's just this is it. Like I said, it's still early doors, but our transfer window can't start until we get sales. So we've got to negotiate for the sales of these players first and wait till that happens. And then when that finally goes through, we can buy someone. And then now that one's gone, and now this player's gone. And it's a massive. It's just massively disappointment to be in this position. We just got to hope that Potter and Macaulay can really find some gems, really work their magic and put something together. And listen, Potter's had a lot of flack, right? But he's really come into the club at such a tough time. Whatever anyone thinks of Potter, to inherit this fucking useless squad that he's inherited, and then to come into the summer where he's not going to be heavily backed. He's got to sell some of our good players just to be able to buy again, and to have this much pressure on him is mad. I think people need to give Potter a bit of a break, to be honest, because like I said,
I wonder if he knew what he was coming into when he joined.
Well, the problem is the guy that pitched him on the club and interviewed him and hired him isn't here anymore, and that's Steidten. So I imagine it's quite a different scenario than what he was probably pitched, because Steidten was part of that process and part of the club. So I think it probably is different, and it's like I said, it's a shame because you look, Moyes had loads of money, could have his players, had control, whatever. Lopetegui, 150 mil off the bat, boom, back to pre-season, all of that. Like Potter's come in, inherited it, like all of a sudden Bowen's injured, Somerville gets injured in this first game, Fulkrug gets injured in his first game. We're in the shit. Like, we've got a terrible midfield. We've got a defense that's been leaking goals for fun. And all of a sudden, for some reason, the pressure's instantly on him. And then he comes into the summer now and, he's having to sell players before he can bring anyone in. And people are like, going, get him out. Like, who? Tell me what manager is coming in and working miracles with this. It's a real shit hand he's been dealt. So I think, like, whatever you think about him, you've got to give him cut him some slack.
It's always been a bit of a tough place to come to work, isn't it, West Ham? It's never been easy, but we'll have to see.
But what I'm saying is other managers have had pre-seasons, time and money. That's where he hasn't. Compare it to previous managers, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
This is why I think Potter's going to be good at is bringing through the youth. I think he's already stated that he wants them to be there for pre-season, you know, to see them a bit more. And if he has to work with, like I said, I've said it before, like I think that Potts is ready for first team football. And I think if you can get a couple of experienced players around him, I think he could thrive in the first team. And I think that he could be, sometimes you ain't got to go out and spend 70 million on a player because you've got someone like that all ready to go. You know, I'm not saying that we ain't got to go out and sign players because I know we have. We've got to sign a lot of players, but sometimes we might have to, even if we have to dip into the Championship, we've had success from there in the past. If we have to get free signings that ain't working out other football clubs, sometimes they can work out at your football club. So Potter's just got to work like, I know Potter's got to work his magic and he's got to try to, you know, build a team that can push us up the table. I'm not saying that we're going to be pushing for European football next season, but just the next season to be able to sort of play better football and have a team to sort of be proud of, because last season it wasn't a team to be proud of. It was a shower. Like there weren't one game last season. Like even the Arsenal game, it was a great result, but when you watch it back, it wasn't that great performance, and it was one of our best performances.
It was backs to the wall, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. The thing is that's the thing, innit? A lot of it, everything's based on hope. The youth is going to be a big part of it. We just have to hope they're good enough to step in and just be instantly like first team players. And it's not ideal because ideally you want to bring players in gradually, you know, and have them on the bench, and you don't want to have to rely on youth. You want to give up youth opportunities, but now we're forcing it. It could be a blessing or a curse, you know, we'll find out. But it's necessity now that we just have to hope Potts is ready to step up. Earthy is ready to step up, because
but that's what I think. Sometimes sometimes they just need to be chucked in there. Like I think there's football, like modern football, is more. I don't know. They try to mollycoddle them too much, you know, and try to, you know, to stop them. When you look at the likes of Rio, Lampard, Joe Cole, Carrick, Defoe, they was just chucked in there. They went out on loan, they done well on loan, they come back and they got their opportunity. And I think
football was a bit different then, though. Like,
there's too much pressure. There's too much pressure on the managers and that. So
and I think that's the big issue is for us. You know, we could be in danger of going down next season. You know, and it's going to be a gamble. You know, if we rely on youth. They've not played at this level consistently. They've never been in this situation, so it's a gamble to rely on them. And I hope.
Let's just hope they come back from pre-season. They're all refreshed. They've got a fresh mind. You know, they've got a fresh start. You know, a new pre-season with a new manager. You know, and we might be surprised. But there we go.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it is on hope.
No, I was going to say, you've also got to think of like Guilherme as well. You know, he's someone next season that might be able to step up, because it's been hard for him this season because he's been in and out of the team, you know, to move to a new country. It's hard. But look, he's settled now. You know, you see he's married now. He got married the other day. You know, he might be ready to step up next season and be a big, important player for us.
Fucking hell. He's only about 19, isn't he?
Well, yeah, fucking hell, he's old fashioned, isn't it? Like he must be. He's
that's a bit shocking.
Just really speaking of youth, I see Newcastle ready to move on Harrison Ashby after a failed loan spell. They've had enough of him. You know, he was too good to play for us and wanted to move on to Newcastle, and he can't even do well in the.
It was always going to be a tough move for him there. You know, there was a club on the way up.
He should have just where he was. He had the opportunity to get game time with us, and then he chose to go and play.
Yeah, we've had a few players like that. You remember what was the other one? Ngakia. He thought he wanted he see the bright lights, and he was off.
Yeah, what was the one who went to Leeds? The one who went to Leeds, striker, Sonny Perkins.
Perkins.
Look at Mabama. He's probably going to be loaned out next season. You know, from Man City, he's probably going to go to a Championship club.
Yeah, they're trying to sell him. apparently.
Yeah, let's just hope a lot of them ain't made the wrong mistake. And, as I said, the youth that we've got now, I think Pot will, out of necessity more than anything, I think there's a couple of players there that are going to step up next year.
Steve WHU Bell with 4.9 super chat. Thank you, Steve. Totally agree, Ryan, regarding Potts. Cheers, Steve. Tony D'Angelo, once again, super chat. He's messed up the gimmick there. It should be Wava youth, then sign bang average players for free. That's what you should have typed, Tony. Listen, we don't want any more mercenaries and players that think they're too fucking good to play for West Ham.
But yeah, I think that's case in point. I don't care how good they are. If they don't want to play for us, there's no point in them playing for us. You know what I mean? Like, no matter who they are, it don't matter. I just want to see. I just want to see players who want to give blood, sweat, and tears for us. To get us back to where we. I don't even think where we should be because we've never really been there. But where we want to be. But
yeah,
there we go.
Well, we're back to fighting for the European places. That's where we want to be.
Oh another trip around Europe for a season would be brilliant.
Fucking give it another couple of seasons, finishing 14th for being Europe the way it's going.
Yeah. That'd be nice. Everyone gets to go. Everyone gets a trip.
Everyone has an holiday.
Yeah.
That'll be our tagline for selling season tickets. Everyone should have an holiday. Buy your season tickets.
Can we take some of these comments and move on?
Yeah. Randy says the board have backed the wrong horse when it comes to Lopetegui, and now when it comes to Potter. And even though he has not been great, they can't even agree to back him, which is poor. Yeah. You got a feel for the geezer. Matthew Sherrod says Ashley was, but he went out and got the right people in to sell the club. Look who Sullivan sold Birmingham to. Yeah, it's a shit house. No one wants to come here. They all know it's a sinking ship. Lawrence Wyburn says, evening all, we need to now try and find a decent back line. It's so mad how we've just spent like 75 million on two players in that back line and probably nearly 100 if you include Wan-Bissaka. How many players do you guys think we actually need? And would you love to, who would you love to realistically see coming to us? I mean, that's a big topic. How many players do we need? We need a left back. If apparently Emerson's being moved on. So we definitely need a left back. We need a striker, left winger. We need two midfielders. At least two midfielders at least. Yeah, a centre back. I'm trying to be. This is me being generous, by the way, because we've let 5 players go, and we need a right back.
The striker's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah, I've put striker in. Yeah, and the thing is, we've let go of Ings, and now Antonio could be going. We've only got Fulkrug.
I knew he'd do that, man, Antonio. I'm a bit pissed off with him, but
yeah, we're coming to that next. But yeah, so we've only got Fulkrug. So if anything, we need 2 strikers. So if you had that, like we probably need, like realistically, and we can have a small squad, but we need at least 8 players. Potentially, If we didn't get rid of anyone, we needed players.
I think there's a couple of you that can come in that can do cover up. Yeah, 6 to 8. I think to make us competitive again, but we're not going to get 8 players. No, there's no way on earth we get.
This is it. Like, well, you think about it though, Nick. We've let 5 go. They're talking about selling Emerson, so that would be 6. Then if they sell Souček, which are heavily considered, that's 7.
Yeah.
Kudus or Paqueta, you take one of those, that's 8. So that's 8 players out. That's mad. Right?
Yeah. It's a big rebuild. It's a massive rebuild, mate. That's the issue.
It's honestly absolutely criminal. But yeah, like in terms of who I'd see coming to us, I can't name any name I'm aware of and I can think of is not gettable. That's why I keep saying gems, in those foreign leagues. I don't know if there's anyone, you lads, if there's a name you can think of. Do you know what? He's available. We'll touch on the Duran stuff as well in a minute, like because we're being linked with him again. And God's sake, I hope that was all done.
It's just all nonsense in a minute. That's the issue. You never know what to believe.
Yeah. I wonder how Kelleher is feeling now. Frank has gone to Spurs. Yeah. Do you know what? I mean, I hope for his sake that they at least had the conversation of, I might not be here. We might have a different manager. But we were never going to go and bloody get him, were we? Joke. There's nothing wrong with England. Players just need a fucking break. Yeah. I don't think it's just down to that. You can say the same for every country then. It's not just England players. I just think it's Tuchel. He's got to take criticism, man. What do you, Ryan? I know because obviously you're like the biggest sort of England fan here. What do you make of Tuchel so far?
I wasn't when we got him. I wasn't sort of excited about the appointment. The thing is with Southgate, I know that sometimes it wasn't great watching the games, but the one thing I'd say with Southgate, and you can see the difference between him and Tuchel, people actually enjoyed going to play for England. These players now, they don't look like they want to be there. It's proved it over the last 2 games. Southgate had a togetherness in that camp. You see all the videos and I just don't think Tuchel's got it. And I don't know whether that's because whether it's because he's not English, he doesn't get it. To him, it doesn't really matter. He knows he's only got 2 years. He's got a World Cup and that's it. So look, he's a manager and he'll want to win and he'd love to have the World Cup on his CV, but I just don't. It just
the thing I think
it might change.
Selections and call up seem a bit mad to me. That's the big issue I have is some of the players.
I think there's too many. I mean, Bellingham walks around like he's the best player in the world. Like he's getting this arrogance about him because he plays for Real Madrid and he's got an attitude. He needs that knocked out of him straight away. You see the difference between Rice for West Ham and Rice with Arsenal playing for England. There's a difference there. Like I don't know. They just don't look together. And I think Roy Keane brought it up as well in the pundit. Like it just don't. There's something not right there, and I don't know like what it is. But yeah, I can't see it working out. I hope I'm wrong because I want to see England win something. I want to see England do well, but I don't know. I just can't see it. I think we've missed our opportunity to win something. Like
I think it's the culture. I think when you look at Southgate, I think he just understood what, he was an England player himself, like quite recently. He'd seen the likes of like Capello and played with people like who played for Capello and played for Sven and all that. And like sometimes the foreign, what's the word? The culture of the foreign managers and, what they do for the side, it just doesn't work. And I think that's what it is. And I think that's why they were so happy under Southgate, because he understood it. He understood the sort of like the modern player and the modern attitude towards the international. That's what, and I think that resonates with West Ham as well. They was, players were happier.
But the thing is, the style of play was like it has been at West Ham. That was an issue. Like people were bored about how England were playing, and nothing's changed. It's still the same.
No, it's just yeah.
I mean, look, Tuchel's new, and in the especially the last 2 games, he's trying a lot of new players out just to see if they can. I mean, I don't see the point of him calling Ivan Toney up because he give him 2 minutes in 2 games. It's ridiculous. You don't need to play Harry Kane. Harry Kane's going to score goals. Harry Kane's going to be your main striker. Leave him at home.
But what's the point in calling Henderson up? All this leadership stuff. You're telling me there's not enough leadership in that we have to call a fucking 40-year-old player that's not even going. He's going to be even older by the time the World Cup comes around. Why are we calling him up? That's a waste.
Yeah.
So
I think
the Bowen
he'll be gone after the World Cup anyway. So I don't think we've got too much to think. Can I just say something quickly before you take the rest?
Yeah,
of I see something. I think I see the funniest thing today. Right, this is the difference between the Premier League and the big leagues and the smallest leagues. Right. So the man of the match in the Sudan Premier League. Yeah. What do you think he gets for a man of the match?
Sudan Premier League.
Sudan Premier League. If you're the man of the match, what do you get?
Bouquet of flowers.
You what?
A watermelon.
No.
Bouquet of flowers.
No. The Sudan Premier League man of the match in every game receives a jug of engine oil.
Jug of what?
Like a fucking for engine oil, like oil for your car.
That's fucking it's handy. Like you use it, you get more use out of a can of oil than a fucking trophy
or champagne.
Yeah, what if you break down? Oh, I need oil. Oh, I've got man. Right?
If you're really good, you'll have fucking loads of it.
bit random of all the things. There's a lot of useful things you give here. They go injured. It must be like really valuable out there, like Sudan. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
It's got to be
it probably
significant.
isn't, mate. In Sudan, and what's it? Is Sudan in the Middle East? I know that might be a bit ignorant.
No,
but is it like
Sudan's in Africa. It's in North Africa.
What, like near Morocco and?
Yeah, it's like near like you got Senegal, but it's further up. I think you got Somalia and you got Ethiopia. I think it's near like round there that way, like near the north.
Yeah, maybe it is pretty valuable then. But you'd say I thought it was in like the, like Saudi Arabia and all that. But that wouldn't be fucking expensive at all, would it? Oil there.
Yeah, no, exactly. They have it fucking in abundance. So no, in Africa. So there you go.
And one more thing, just before we move on, Dan. Sorry, I promised my mum I'd say this. A lot of people know. I know a lot of people do know now. I lost my dad in the last few months to cancer, and my mum, unfortunately, a couple of days after that, which I don't think I've told anyone yet, but she got diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's just going through her first chemo sessions now. So I said to her that I'd give her a shout out, and if you see her name's Tracy Manning. If you see her on the socials, give her a little message, and wish her well, because she's going to go through it for the next few months, but she's going to get better. And it's been a bit tough in the last few months, but there we go. Get well soon, Mum.
Yeah, get well soon.
Yeah, get well soon, Tracy.
Yeah, get well. Thunder Road says, who's the bird in the thumbnail? Looks like she suffered narcolepsy in a tanning booth. That's, yes, David Sullivan's. What is she? Is he fiance? Are they engaged? What are they like?
Oh, what is? Yeah, I think they're engaged.
But I can't remember what her name is, but she's been really under fire for a lot of controversies at the moment. I think with I think it was a children's home that has been closed down and allegations run wild. But it just makes me laugh. I took that because it's just I've seen all these pictures and videos of Sullivan and her on the yacht, and she's all topless and they're loving it. And I just think this club is fucking dying, and you're just there and living your best life, and we're here like fucking just begging for some crumbs for you so we can spend some bloody money. So I use that, but yeah, she's all over the place
because it looks like she's going to have the lot.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. If they're married, then boy, imagine she ends up owning West Ham. We'll end up in administration. But yeah, honestly, hilarious couple. And this is the last one. Daz, the worst. You when you highlight these ones where they're talking to each other.
Mostly I do that by accident, mate. I don't mean to.
Yeah, it's like after conversation. Maybe Macaulay's been promised the world. It wouldn't surprise me if he was when he come on. You'll get to bring your players in with Potter. You and Potter can go and give you funds. And you can scout and do your data analysis and all that crap. Yeah, shit. Antonio, obviously, this is still ongoing. Still haven't been able to come to a resolution. It seems West Ham are looking at, like a short-term deal to see where he's at, because I don't trust that he's going to be able to be up to play the pace of the Premier League. Now, Antonio apparently thinks he is fully able to contribute at a high level. He said apparently he thinks he could have played in the last game, the last home game, Forest game. He feels like he was fit enough to play that, but he weren't on the bench, and he's not happy with, I think, not just the amount of money offered, but the length of the contract. And with West Ham, the way I look at it is, if Antonio didn't get in that car crash, he wouldn't have been offered a deal. This is purely down to sentiment. He's 35 years old. He's on $100,000 a week. He was in, and I'll preface this. I have to say this because people think, oh, you just hate Antonio. I love Antonio. I would love him to get this deal, whatever works best for the club, and finish out his career. I'd love him to do that. But we have to be real. He was not great before the injury. He was pretty poor. He's lost a massive amount of pace. He's 35. He's now had a car crash. He hasn't played in 7 months. Like, there's no upside for West Ham to keep Antonio at the club. It's purely for Antonio. It's no benefit to us to have him. It's we're doing it for him because of his years of service. But I think he's taking the contract that we're offering as a sort of a disrespect or a sign we're not valuing his loyalty, and that's not.
He's probably holding out for like a 2-year deal or something like that. But the thing is, like, I agree with everything you said there. That's the same how I feel. I love Antonio, but I think that it is time to maybe part ways. I'd love to have seen him have one more minute in a West Ham shirt, and if he still stays at the club, I'll still back him. I love Antonio. I agree. I'd like to see him finish his career at the club. But the thing is, what I don't get with a meltdown slagging off Antonio from some of our fans is that they've been calling to get him out the club for 3 years. Now he's turned down a contract offer, and now they're like slagging him off, saying, "Oh, he's an arsehole for doing it." But hang on, if you want him out, you should be happy that he's turning down a deal and he's going to leave the football club. So this is what I see. It's sometimes with our fan base, they just go with what's hot at the moment, and 1 minute they're hating Antonio, then they're loving him, and now he's turned down a deal. They're taking it as a bit of offence. Like, they're like, "Whoa, hang on, you turning down our football club, but you wanted him out. So make up your mind. You either want him or you don't."
I'm on the other side of the fence here, because I do think, although I do understand. Of course, I understand it, and I understand at his age, you've got to take the best deal for you in terms of like how long you want to keep on playing for. But I think he's a little bit like the way he's. Well, it's what's reported, isn't it? The way he's like approaching it, and he's found it an insult. He's just sat there for 7 months, and listen, it was tragic what happened to him, and it's a total accident, and I understand it 100%, right? But he's sat there for 7 months, doing his rehab, and we've paid him 100 grand a week for pretty much the whole year. I think he owes it to the football club to at least give 1 more year on a reduced salary, because they've offered him a deal, but it's one of the, have they offered him a deal because it's him, or have they offered it a deal because they actually find, they think they can get some. So I think he's been finished for a couple of years in terms of like a top player for us. Yeah. But I do think it's a bit cheeky, because if you can sort of find a club that can, he'll find someone that'll take him next year. But I think it's a little bit cheeky that he sat there and collected all that money, and now it comes to the contract negotiation. We offer him something, and I think he owes it to the club at least to play a couple of more, or at least give it as good as he can get, and sign the contract and at least try and come back for us. It may come to the point where we don't want him, or it can come to a mutual agreement. But I think that's a little bit cheeky of what he's said there. But
and it's not like he got injured in a West Ham shirt, did he? It's not like we owe him something because he was playing in our shirt and someone's done a bad tackle on him and injured him. And,
exactly. Yeah,
it's not the first time it's happened. We all obviously know he's got a history of being like. He had a car crash a few years before on Christmas Day or whatever it was, dressed as a snowman. But I mean, look, me personally, if I was Antonio after that, he's earned a lot of money out of football. I think he can have a good career after as a pundit. He can go and earn more money doing that. If I was Antonio, I would maybe retire. What's he, 35? I know it's hard for footballers to retire because it's such a short career and his career's gone like that. But with that injury, I mean, he's only one bad tackle away from, snapping his leg again and risk of fucking not walking again or losing the leg. These things happen. And, there was rumours that he was fit enough to maybe be on the bench for the Ipswich game, but Potter didn't want to do it. I mean, maybe that would have been a fairy tale ending for him. Come on, last 5 minutes, have a run about, and then say goodbye to the fans.
Yeah, that would have been ideal, wouldn't it? Like, really. And I think he's a little bit of a delusional person, to be honest. I mean, he's the same one that said if he played for Man City, he'd be scoring 25 plus goals. He's said things like we're going to finish above Liverpool. He says a lot of things, and now it's like he's saying he's good enough to contribute and start in the Premier League, and he genuinely must think that's because this is the thing, like. You would turn that down if you think you can get better elsewhere. I don't know of another club at a high level that is going to pay him anywhere near what he wants. Like to play
he's
football.
got a
been
very
linked with
good
Everton.
career. He's got a very good career as a pundit. He was brilliant on that game that he was punditing the other day. He's got his own podcast. He's earned a lot of money. I think he should just sign the short-term deal with West Ham, see how it goes, see if he's still got the hunger. Because there has been times, I felt for the last few years with Antonio that he's been sort of like pimping himself out. He's sort of like got to a point when he's like, well, if a move comes along, I might consider it and all that. He's been here for a long, long time. And he's repaid us what we paid for him, I think 10, 20-fold. No one's gonna, but I don't feel like he's totally like committed to staying at the club and all that. I just think like he's another one of these people that just want to get out of it. But listen, I do understand it. At the end of the day, as you said, if he hadn't have had the car crash and he played for the season, he may not have played many games. He might have been like in an Aaron Cresswell situation. Then they released him. Then he stuck up shit creek. But I must admit, I was a little bit disappointed with the way he sort of like handled the situation. I think he owes us at least like a little 6-month deal. Because if he's good enough, he's legs in him, he can go somewhere else.
You say he owes us, Nick, but like I said, it's not for us; it's for him. There's no. I don't see any upside on a footballing perspective of having Antonio next season. Again, like Burrows, he's broke his leg in 4 places. He's not playing football.
If he does feel like they're just offering him a deal out of like sort of like as a favour, then he's doing the right thing. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, who is going to offer, like I said, a deal at genuine? I mean, look, Mark, I don't know what he's drinking. He says he'll go Everton and score 20 league goals. I mean, that's probably what Antonio thinks. But yeah, like genuinely, I know he's linked with Everton. I think it's like lazy jerk. I'd be very surprised. I know Moyes is close. I'd be very surprised if they signed him. Like, maybe might get an opportunity at Turkey. He's turned down. Like, I think he had an opportunity to go Saudi at one point, and he didn't fancy it. So, yeah, I just don't see what he thinks he can get. Good luck to his agent, but it's a shame. But I think the club are doing the right thing by not folding.
Imagine we gave him Antonio, because you wanted him to finish his career at West Ham. You wanted him to go out on a high. He's been a great servant. He's our record Premier League goal scorer. He obviously part of the team that won the Conference League. He's had some great moments in the West Ham shirt. But yes, all good things must come to an end sometimes. And it's like, for me, I'd say that the deal that West Ham could offer him is another year with a basic salary, and if he plays, he gets bonus payments. So he can't be on his $100,000 a week. If they slash that to $50,000 a week, then yeah, that's still a lot of money. But
is there anyone that we've just released, right, that you would rather have offered a deal to? Like, if you could turn around and go,
really. I don't think Ings was worth any of the money we paid for him. Like
Cresswell, I would probably have maybe give Cresswell another year, just because
probably,
like I said, we're playing that back through.
Maybe Fabianski I would have kept. Cresswell, it's a difficult one with Cresswell, because I think that he wants to sort of go back up north. But I've heard he's been linked with Ipswich, so that could be where he wants to go back to where he started, or where he broke through. But yeah, it's a difficult one. It's going to be interesting to see the Antonio situation over the next few months. It'll probably be where we release him, we're struggling, and we sign him back like we did with Colton Cole all them years ago.
Yeah.
We'll put it in the chat. What would you rather do? Would you offer him one? Would you not offer him one? Are you pissed off that he's turning it down, or are you happy that he's finally going to be?
Soufal's a good shout.
Because Soufal, you can see how much Soufal loved the football club and what he's like. Even when he left, the players that left, that give them free emotional videos. Like, well, as soon as I watched them videos, I was like, just give him a new deal. I don't want him to go now. Like, and you notice the one that never got nothing was Danny Ings, because the geezer probably didn't give a fuck about football. He was just happy he's getting $125,000 a week, strolling about like at the training ground. So
Reminds me. Do you know what he used to remind me of? Right, you know Yarmolenko, when we used to see him picking up 150 grand a week or whatever he was, and he was like just warming up at half time. That's all he used to do a match day. Until towards the end. But
yeah, no, there's a lot of players like
that. I've started a couple more comments. Antonio's a good player, says Daz, but if he wants more money, then he's having a laugh. Mike says no, too old. It seems to be sort of like the common comment there is just too old. Move him on.
Well, we had the oldest squad. We had the oldest squad in the Premier League, didn't we? So that's one thing that we need to do is get that down. We do need a lot more youth and younger players in there, but you need a mix of experience as well.
Well, the fact that, and this is the thing, the fact that we're letting so many players go and we haven't got the funds to bring many in, we've released 5 players and we can't replace them until we sell more players. So maybe we were a little bit hasty and should have realised, oh, okay, we've got a sell to buy. We're not going to have a lot of money to spend. Who could we keep for at least another year where we don't have to worry about? Because now, like, say you kept Soufal, like Soufal is a backup anyway. So it doesn't matter about his age because he's never going to start ahead of Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, but
so
he did say that he wanted to play. That was his, he could have went.
He's going to play, but he's not going to start every game. Sometimes he played, didn't he, last season? He's still got a good few games.
Yeah, it's difficult for players when you're coming towards the end of your career because, as I said, football's a short career and they just want to play. They just want to play, and I can imagine. I can see Soufal ending up under Moyes at Everton.
There's rumours that he'll go there.
I can see that, and I think he'll do well there.
The thing is, like I said, you say he want to play, but if you don't even offer him a deal, they can't take the option. If you offer Soufal a deal, it's easy for him to fucking stay in London as a second choice and still play for the club that he loves, then move all the way up to Liverpool, you know what I mean, and play there on a 2-year deal. Like, it's to just not offer the deal at all. What I'm saying is, from our perspective, forget whether he'd accept or not. Like, for us, if we know we've got to sign all these players and get all these positions, you're letting 5 players go. We've got to sign a backup keeper now, because I don't think we're going to get the first choice keeper. We've got to sign a backup right back now. Why couldn't we have just kept them for another season and then given ourselves more time and then focused our money on the real urgent positions, the midfield, the striker, the flipping, defense? Now we've given ourselves more holes to plug. Yeah. Well, maybe we could have offered them players. Yeah, of course they can say no, but I think it's easier for them to say yes and go, I'll stay at this club, love the club, don't want to leave. I think they, out of sentiment, I think they would have taken it. Yeah, whether they're first choice or not.
Anyway,
at their age, they're not going to go many clubs and be guaranteed to start every single week at their age.
Just moving on, another player that left this week, obviously, was Kurt Zouma. Do you know what? I was a bit sad to see him go. I know his knees were gone. I watched him in a pre-season friendly last season, and he was like, his knees are absolutely gone. But when you think about the, he came along, and we had really good times with him especially when he turned into the captain. And I thought he was a good player for us. Apart from him kicking the cat, I thought he was a decent player, and I'm quite sad to see him. He just got released in the end, didn't he? He didn't even go to Saudi.
No, he did go. We loaned him. We loaned him to
Saudi, but he came back and he's just been released now.
We loaned him. He's been released. Obviously, so like someone put a photo up the other day, and it was our team photo against Frankfurt at home in the semi-final. When I look at that team and I look at that squad, and I just remember, like, because Kurt Zouma was unreal that season. He was a big part of our success. And then you look at Fornals, Lanzini, obviously Declan, fucking so many players in that photo, and you look at it, just we've gone from that to then the Conference League winners to now how we're struggling. It's mad. But yeah, it's just the end of an era for that sort of that sort of team. So that squad, and they're all obviously going now. So yeah, look, I wish Kurt Zouma well. I thought he was a great servant for us, great player. I know he had his obviously issues with what happened with him personally, but he got over it and he captained us, for a little while, and then he was part of the team that won the Conference League. So he'd always be in our history. So yeah, good
injuries on him, which was a shame because he was he was a good defender, but you could see he was his body was letting him down in the end.
Being fair, we probably never would have got him if he didn't have those injuries.
That is true. Yeah.
So it is a shame for him because I think he definitely was a real talent. But that last season at West Ham, you could see the struggle it was for him. So yeah, listen, good luck to him, but he needed to be gone, and I don't know where he goes from here if he can't really get cement down any football in Saudi. Hopefully he's got so listen, and he seems like someone who's got good personality. He could probably be a pundit in France. He's
got a future ahead of him, coaching, whatever. But
so
I was sad to see him go in the end, but there we go. You know what comes before we move on? I don't know. Have we got anything else to talk about?
Well, no, not really. Unless you want to just go
Premier League.
John, let's quickly touch on Jhon Duran then, because he's gone to. I think it was Al Hilal. He's gone to a big sign, a big transfer, and let's talk about them loaning him out, which is it's mental to me. Inevitably, West Ham's name comes up. I think it's pure speculation at this time, because we were so heavily in for him before. I think we fucked him about too much, and I don't know if we'd come to us. Apparently, this was a report that it was over £3 million that we didn't go for him, and he was left feeling embarrassed and pissed off with West Ham. That's what I saw someone say, but I think that ship has sailed. But I'd be worried, if he can't really cement down enough time, but why are they loaning him out? If he's his talent, he should be banging goals over there. I haven't seen his season. What did he do?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen a couple of clips of him. I think there was one game where he literally walked it around the whole team and just tacked it in, because of the level of football out there is shocking.
My God.
But
that's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, look, it'd be a good signing for someone. It'd be a good signing. So I could, if he's coming back on loan and he's obviously going to be on a higher wage, I could see him maybe going somewhere like Arsenal, somewhere like that, because they're obviously desperate for a striker. They're going to pay the money if it's a loan deal. He went out to Saudi. How long's he been out there? Not even a whole season, is he? He only joined them in.
He scored 12 goals in 18 games.
Yeah, I think he only joined them sort of midway through the season, didn't he?
He joined in January.
Yeah. So he's gone out there and he's earned a lot of money in a short space of time. So maybe he's thought, do you know what? The grass ain't always greener. I don't like it out here. It's not my style of football. I'm still young. Get me back to the Premier League or back to a European league, and he'll go and smash it, because we know he's got the talent. He was doing it for Villa, and obviously it was a lot of money that they offered Villa, and they was never going to turn that down. So with what Villa had,
why the fuck would they loan him? I don't see the value there. I don't see the benefit to Al Nassr.
I don't think anyone's going to pay the sort of 80, 90 million for him, but there could be an option which clubs love doing now with the obligation to buy. So there could be a deal that he'll go to somewhere like Arsenal. Maybe I can see someone like maybe Newcastle. He's probably a Chelsea type player. He's got ambitions. I can't see him coming to us because we can't offer him European football. And I think he wants to play in the top European competitions.
Well, yeah,
it's all like Tottenham or something like that if he's going to go on loan.
Yeah, Tottenham. I mean, Tottenham are apparently very close to signing someone like Jack Grealish. So,
they're linked with someone like 70 million in for Mbuemo.
Someone from Duran as well. You can see that happening. But I don't think he's gonna. I don't think West Ham are going to attract him. I really don't. And
I'd be very surprised if he ends up there. That's for sure.
It just shows you this Saudi league. It's never going to be what they want it to be, because you can attract these players with the money, but once they get there, they just realize the money's not worth it.
I think what it is with him, he's only 20 or something. You know what I mean? It's really tough for a kid like that. He probably got talked into it through the money. they probably said to him, "Look, you got loads of time to come back and all that." But apparently, he's a bit, he's not settled. But apparently, he's a bit of a loose cannon. Like he's not
allowed to live with his girlfriend because they're not married. Like
things like that. Yes, it's a completely different style of living out there.
So to live with, I think what it was, if he wanted to live with his girlfriend, he has to live quite far from the stadium or from the training ground. So he'd have to commute like over an hour every day or something. And like I said, it's just that's the big problem. They're always they can throw all this money at players. Players get there and they're miserable there. And as soon as they're there, they want to leave already. Like it was similar with China. China was doing it. Players would go and go, oh, this is a bit shit. Like and want to leave.
Even like Ivan Toney obviously went out there. I think someone said the other day, I think he scored 20 goals and 17 of them have been penalties. Like he's gone out there, he's earning a lot of money. Okay, he was lucky to get an England call up. But yeah, he's just another one that's sort of gone out there for his money, wasted his career, when he could be still smashing it up in the Premier League because he was brilliant for Brentford.
Yeah, that's it. It's insane. I don't see how that's sustainable, that league. They keep paying for money.
When the Chinese league come in, do you remember this big Chinese league that was going to take over the world and put the Premiership was going to go out of business? A lot of these countries try to do it, but I don't.
The only difference with the Chinese league, I think the Chinese government regulated it and put a wage cap on, which killed it. It would always never have been big, but Saudi will never have that. But the problem is, it's not sustainable to keep paying massive wages and fees for players that go there, and they're there after a short time they want to leave, and then you end up selling them at a loss. Yes, they've got unlimited money, but you have to think, well, what's the point of it to keep doing that, to keep splashing out money?
It is obviously like there's attractions to it. There's the money. You're going to be a very rich person in a rich part of the world, but some of the lifestyle changes is like very extreme, and I think some of these players, I think they're just used to get away with.
You're a young guy, and you can't do all the fun things a young guy likes to do. You know what I mean?
To basically lock yourself up and
you have to be.
Sometimes a lot of these young football players need that.
Oh yeah, they do, but they don't want it. That's the problem. That's the issue. Is they go there and they're bored. Like they're like, fucking hell, I've got all this money. What can I do with it? Like I can't enjoy it because I'm just bored. Like what is there for me to do with it? So that's why it's not working.
It's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. It's going to be a mad sort of transfer window. The next, however long when's it shut? 1st September. It's going to be crazy for the next couple of months. But let's just hope that we get our business done and we get some decent signings in before the start of the season, because we don't want to be going into the start of the season with anything like the squad we ended up with, or the starting 11 that we ended up with.
We'll go down.
We need to get some business done a little bit early. A bit like last year. We've done, some business early last year, but yeah.
I mean, Man United, obviously, they struggled last season, and a lot of people are laughing at some of the signings they're getting, but they're getting smart signings. Like I think Kuna will do really well for them, and there's other players they've been linked with. Look, they haven't got European football next season, but they're still Manchester United, so they're still going to attract a certain type of player. So yeah, I mean, Man United won't be anywhere near the bottom half next season. They'll be back up there, I think. So we're going to have to have a good start next season. The fixtures come out next week, so that's something to look forward to. It's always an exciting time.
Next Wednesday, I think it's next Wednesday.
It's always an exciting time of the season when the new fixtures come out. Then we'll have the new kit. Everyone will be buzzing again, and then the season will start and we'll be shit again.
Yeah, I've got 31 quid of club cash I've got to spend. So
you know what, right?
They'll get you the socks.
Yeah, you can get the socks out of that. Yeah, I've always thought this though. Why are we so late with our kits? A lot of the teams and that release new kits. They've got them out before the end of last season.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know if that's an Umbro thing or what.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, the kit launch video was filmed before the end of the season.
Yeah, So it's ready to go. But
unless I don't know. Yeah.
I think that'd be the perfect time, because you want more time for fans to buy it. Like, you know, you have all that extra time, and then think about it, if it's like May and the shirt comes round, well, fans have got a lot longer with it before it's outdated.
Do you know what?
Back in the old days, you used to wear your new kit on the last game of the season.
Yeah. But you know what I also think is a contributing factor to it is that we don't distribute it anywhere but our shops.
Yeah.
So
I think there's one Sports Direct, I think, have it now. We did do a deal with someone.
Who is it? Castorol? Is it Castora?
What?
Castora. They sell the kits for some reason. You know, like the who used to do Newcastle's kit and all that. They, for some reason, they sell Umbro kits. I don't know whether they're all linked, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know Sports Direct. I think a few seasons ago they started selling them again.
JD Sports sell West Ham kits as well.
I haven't seen them in there for ages.
There was a time when it was exclusive to the club shop, which was just fucking stupid. Yeah. Like, why would you do that? I know West Ham probably get more of the money, but how many club shops are there in it around? You know what I mean? People got to go Stratford or Romford or Lakeside just to get a shirt.
Yeah. Just before we go, then, who are you backing? Let's have a little gentleman's bet. Who do you think first game of the season?
I'm gonna say Liverpool.
What, home or away?
Away. Oh, Liverpool away at the start of the season. That never happens, really.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Say Liverpool at home.
That'd be like the opening game or something. That will with this. It'd be like a Friday night.
I'm gonna say Liverpool at home.
I'm gonna say we're gonna get Burnley at home. Nice start to the season. Burnley. I'm saying that though, newly promoted clubs usually do well first game of the season, so it's probably I'd rather play fucking City away.
I'm gonna go for a random one.
Yeah.
Brighton at home. There we go.
All right.
There we go. Everyone put in the chat who you think it is and put it in the comments. We'll read them out next week when we are we going to go live Wednesday morning, Dan, 9 a.m. when they come out?
Yeah, can do.
Yeah. So
we do. But yeah, do you remember that streak we had where we had like however many top 6 clubs in a row, like season after? It was like mental. It was like 6 years or 7 years in a row, something mental. Like Arsenal and City, we had City twice in a row. And
there we go. So should we wrap it up?
Yeah, go on.
If you haven't seen it, there is on the channel. It wasn't live, obviously it was not live, but there is a Jimmy Walker and Paul Konchesky thing that me and Ryan done at the Brewdog. We do them quite often. Look at the Brewdog because we've got a couple more coming up in the next few months. So keep an eye on the Brewdog and we'll advertise it. But they're good nights, them. I really enjoyed that one. That was one of the best ones we've done. Yeah,
if the audio gets better if you just go past the first
after 5 minutes. Yeah, it does.
So don't be deterred. Just skip ahead 5 minutes and it should be listenable.
But we are working on the audio. I think we're going to take something in there to record it sort of natively through the speaker. So there we go.
Yes, good. And enjoy it. Club World Cup starts on Sunday as well. So brilliant. Enjoy that. Bit of football over the summer. Are you guys back in? Are you doing an England? Are you going to support England, or have you got a team for the Club World Cup?
I picked mine. Who the fuck did I pick? Mascherano, isn't it? He manages someone. So I picked. Is it Miami?
That's Inter Miami.
Yeah, so I'm going to take Inter Miami. That's who I'm going to.
I've got Inter Miami. You've gone. I've gone for. I think they're going to win it.
That's who I'm supporting.
I've gone for Urawa Reds, the Tokyo team. Shout out to my mate Billy from Japan, Japanese West Ham fan. Billy's not his real name, but he's given out his name. So because of them, when I went over there, he gave me the merch. Urawa, come on, the Reds, the Red Diamonds. Right, you got a team. You got a.
Fuck knows, I can't remember who's in it, but I'll just
Any country.
I'll have a look who's in it.
Yeah. I mean, they've got. Obviously, Europe.
Who's the English teams that are in it? Chelsea,
City and Chelsea.
Is that it?
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, fuck that then. I ain't supporting any of them.
Yeah, you got.
No, I might support City. Oh, it's Oasis season, isn't it? All the Oasis concerts are coming up. So come on, City.
You got Lanzini's in it. I think he's at Boca Juniors, isn't he? Is he at Boca?
No, so you know what? I see a story earlier that I think Lanzini's going to a team in America because they were saying about him coming up against his good mate Messi.
Oh, right.
I can't remember who it was now.
He's got about that boy, isn't he? I think we signed him from a team in like Abu Dhabi or something.
Yeah. No, that's it. I'm trying to see. Yeah, you got Dortmund as German teams. It'd be nice to see like a non-European team win it because I think the feeling is like all the European teams are going to fucking dominate. We've got Sounders and LAFC and
it all depends how seriously they take it. That's the thing.
Oh, River is that River Plate? Yeah, so
River Plate, Fluminense, Plastic Citizens.
Plastic City, did you say? What about Auckland for our Aussie Hammers?
Yeah. No, I'm going to go Miami. There's an ex-West Ham player. I'm going to attach myself to an ex-West Ham player.
Yeah, you like going there on holiday enough as well, didn't you? So ex-West Ham. Do you know what? Like, he's an ex-West Ham, but he was.
Dan's unplugged his mic.
He's for West Ham, did he? Like, let's be honest. He didn't get going until he left.
Yeah, he couldn't make it in the team over. Who was it? Aidan Mullins, wasn't
it? Yeah. It was like all the hype he come with, and we didn't really see anything from him. Plastic Citizen. So yeah, like listen, we got that to look forward to anyway. So it's something.
We're going to start looking at transfers from Monday morning. I'm going to be here sort of daily, talking about the rumours and all of that sort of stuff, and that sort of thing. And then obviously the Wednesday comes, and we're going to go live with the fixture. So there we go. We've got some content coming up.
Good stuff. Nice one, lads.
Nice one, boys.
Thank you, everyone in the chat. Always a pleasure. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. And yes, we will end it there. Have a good one. One thing left to say. Come on, you irons.